On this episode of The Blurb, a book that's like Nora Roberts meets Greg Iles. Welcome to The Blurb. I'm your host, Glenn Porzig. Be sure to check out theblurb.tv for show notes and links. This episode is brought to you by Graphic Entertainment. Read the supernatural thriller series Darkness Unbound and the science fiction thriller Among the Titans free with a 30-day free Kindle Unlimited membership at graphicentertainment.com/free. Author, public speaker, and executive producer Lynn Tincher was born just outside of Louisville, Kentucky in the beautiful city of LaGrange. One of her fondest memories of growing up was when a short story she wrote for an English class was read in front of the students at Oldham County High School. Since then, her love of writing blossomed. She studied theater arts at Eastern Kentucky University in hopes of becoming a drama/English teacher. Lynn had several articles published in local magazines and online, but the thought of writing a novel always stuck with her. Inspired by Nora Roberts, J.K. Rowling, and Greg Iles, Lynn wrote Afterthoughts, the first book in the Mind-Bending series, a fictional psychological crime series that follows the life of a young Louisville police detective named Paige Aldridge. Lynn now lives just outside of Louisville on a farm in Shepherdsville with her husband Eric, where she loves to garden organically. She has 3 wonderful children, Emily, Aaron, and Becca, and 3 fantastic dogs named Luke, Bella, and Mara. I'd like to welcome author Lynn Tincher to The Blurb.
Hi, Glenn. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's great to have you here. I'm interested in talking about your book today, and this is The Blurb, so I like to jump right into it and have you read the blurb from your book.
Okay. Detective Paige Aldridge's family are prey for a serial killer. Desperate to help her sister, she is determined to find out who's behind it all. After being the victim of a kidnapping, Paige is traumatized by memories she doesn't know she has. She sees visions of the murders and believes she is followed by someone she only sees in shadows. Trying to run from her dreams, Paige is sent spiraling down a path of self-doubt, fear, and betrayal. She finds an unlikely friend that tries to help her by telling her unbelievable things. Teamed up with her partner, Jay, Paige tries to put all the pieces together. Are all these things connected? Will Jay believe in her? And most importantly, will she believe in herself? Can she get her thoughts together before it's too late?
All right. Sounds interesting. So what's the title of the book?
The book is Afterthoughts.
Afterthoughts.
It's the first book in a series. Right now I'm writing the 5th.
All right. All right. And what's the series title?
The Mind-Bending series.
Okay. And speaking of the title of the first book, particularly, how did you come up with the title? Did that come first, or did you write the book and then decide on the perfect title later?
Actually, I was probably about halfway through the book and ran across a company name called Afterthoughts, which I think is part of Claire's, and it just rang a bell because there's some paranormal aspects to this book that this just seemed a perfect fit when I just happened to see that company name. I'm like, okay, that's my book title.
Cool. And what about the series title?
Well, actually, that was something that came long after the first book was written, when I decided I was definitely going to make it a series. I talked to a couple of friends. I'm like, what do you think it should be? And it just, sorry, I said series and my phone picked up. But I was like, just what do you think it should be? And they said, well, it does kind of bend your thoughts, bend your mind a little bit. So that kind of just stuck.
Yeah, I think it's a good title. We just saw the cover. And so you want to talk any about what went into your cover or your covers in general?
Actually, this is the 5th version of the cover for Afterthoughts. It's in its 6th edition total. The first cover, I self-published the first edition 11 years ago. And after landing a publisher, it went to, we did a second cover, and then I pulled the rights back when I had a movie deal offered, and it went into 3rd cover. And then recently when I signed on with Hydra Publications, we decided to rebrand and went with the fourth cover. And this cover I really, really like because it really encapsulates Paige, I think, my lead character. The little eyes that, you could just really see how troubled she is. And it just seemed to really grasp the feel of the book better.
Yeah, I can see if something's a standalone book, one cover might work, but when you realize you're doing a series, often you have to go back and redesign to work as a series. So I'm definitely familiar with that. So what categories would a reader find this under? Or what genre would you call it?
It's a psychological crime thriller. It's under paranormal. It's got some sci-fi feel to it without being too sci-fi-ish, but it's police detective. I mean, it's a lot of things all rolled into one. We've had a difficult time coming up with exactly the correct genre because it is kind of a unique story.
All right. Are there any other genres that you write in, or is this what you focus on?
I'm focused on this as well as a young adult fantasy series that I'm working on. That hopefully I have one of the first book of that out later this year. But it follows the life of like a 12-year-old boy who gets whisked away. His mother sends him away to an elemental world to try to save his life. So I'm still fleshing out a lot of that storyline, but I'm looking forward to getting into that genre as well.
Yeah, cool. All right. One of my favorite things is the elevator pitch. So what meets what? How would you quickly describe this to someone?
To me, it's Afterthoughts is Nora Roberts meets Gregory Isles. And like I said, it's the mind-bending series. And Paige Aldridge is a police detective with kind of paranormal abilities. I won't go into too much because I don't want to give any spoilers. But she must work kind of outside the law to try to help figure out what happened to her family.
Okay. And what got the ball rolling on this? What do you think was your inspiration to start this particular story?
Well, I'm a big Nora Roberts fan, obviously, and I'm also a big Gregory Isles fan. And one of the things that I really liked about Gregory Isles is the way he ties a lot of paranormal aspects to his stories that really makes you think, well, you know what, this really could be possible. So, both, being a Nora Roberts fan, and she writes kind of some paranormal type stuff too, with a little mystery and a little bit of romance, all that stuff tied in. So both of them really inspired me. But the main thing that got me to write this book was because it was all based on a dream that I had that just kind of seemed to fit. I'm like, hey, you know what? If they could do it, I could do it too. So it took a while, but I finally got it all down.
Yeah, awesome. And book 5's in the works. So
yes.
Obviously something worked out, right?
Yes.
All right. When doing research for the book, was there anything you discovered that really surprised you?
Yeah, actually, specifically the second book, but just a lot of the research that I did was involved around how your mind works, how people viewed mental illness, just different things that, how people think and how they react to things. Then people think maybe they're crazy or maybe they're not. Kind of what's going on. But the second book in particular, we go a little farther into the paranormal realm where I have to perform an exorcism in the book. So I did a lot of research and study on exorcisms that absolutely terrified me. So I didn't expect to dig into it that much and get, scared myself. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've been there. My first book involved an exorcism, so I know that kind of research. I know what you went through. So.
Yeah.
All right. Where does your book take place, and is the setting a character, or is it just the setting? I know there's a lot going on already, but
it's set in Louisville. The main characters, they actually live here in Louisville. And there's a couple times I travel. I have them in New Orleans at one point, but basically it's centered here. But that's one of the main comments that I've had from some people is how I actually make the setting a character. Just, trying to bring in the feel, or, get the reader, especially those that are from Louisville, really tied to it, saying, hey, I think I've been there. I've had people say, hey, were you really talking about this restaurant? Or, trying to picture, oh, which police station is she at? That kind of thing. So I really try to give a nice Louisville feel to it as well.
Cool. So, avoiding too many spoilers, why don't you tell us a little bit about your main character?
Detective Paige Aldridge is very stubborn, hard-headed woman who has some paranormal abilities to her. I don't want to go into too much. It's not really a spoiler. You find out kind of early on, but I don't want to give it away. But her abilities help her be able to solve crimes, and in particular with her family in the first book. But I based a lot of her because she's very, very strong, a lot stronger than she believes she is. And I based a lot of that off my daughter. Just some of the aspects of her. There's some of me in her too, like she likes coffee and bubble baths. But it's mostly, the strong characters, but based on my daughter.
Okay. And I know you've got some live action movie stuff going on with this first book as well, right?
Yes. And
So
it's been optioned for film. We did a short film prequel that is now been accepted into the Pasadena International Film Festival. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. It's a 7-minute short that is designed to pique interest into the story and try to help land investors and distributors for when the feature's made. So yeah, and hopefully that takes off and all the rest of the books get to follow suit.
yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
So obviously you've cast the characters for this short, but one of my favorite questions of my guest is dream casting, because normally there's not a movie deal in the works or whatever. But if you could cast any actor or actress, living or dead, some of these characters, who did you have in mind?
Starting off, I really like Jennifer Lawrence. Her being a Louisvillian, and I really liked her character. My DePage has been compared somewhat to Katniss Everdeen, so I know Jennifer could pull it off. But in shooting the short, we ran across Sierra Payton, and it's like we knew the second we saw her, this is our Paige. She's just recently released a movie this week. She's in Medea's Family Funeral with Tyler Perry. So I'm really excited for her, but I mean, she just stepped right in and she became Paige. So, and I'm so excited over her. She's a wonderful, wonderful person too. And then we cast Jay, which is Paige's partner and love interest, maybe. He's being played by Matt Yang King, who is another phenomenal actor. He's been in all kinds of things like Lucifer and some other stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting to meet them when I go to Pasadena. But, really, I lucked into my dream cast.
That's awesome. So one of my relatively new questions is soundtrack. What would be the soundtrack to your book? Was there anything in particular that you listened to a lot when you were writing, or that a song that maybe inspired you or makes you think of your story or any of your characters when you hear it?
I really, at the risk of sounding like it's a horror movie, because it's not, it's got a little bit of scary horror aspect of it. It's really not. But I really like the soundtrack to Halloween, but I think really in thinking of Fight Club and that real edgy little bit of rock feel to it, that I really like that I think would be a really great soundtrack. Of course, we're not that far right now. We just have some nice mystery music wrapped around the short, but phenomenal. They did a great job with that too. But I really like that edgy rock feel.
Yeah, cool. I remember running into you at one of the book fairs, and you were telling me that you had something in the works as far as a film goes. So that's it's really cool that's out now, and the 7-minute version is out, and to draw attention to the book series as a film series. So that's really cool. Now,
Yeah.
what fans are fans of what author or book series do you think would enjoy your book? Now, I know you've already mentioned Nora Roberts, so, but what series do you think, if someone reads this series, they would probably enjoy yours?
Well, maybe a little more on the Gregory Isle side, or Nora Roberts when she writes as J.D. Robb, because it's more mystery and suspense than it is, Nora's romance side.
Mhm.
So I think anybody that reads either one of those, or Sue Grafton is another one, or even James Patterson, with a little Stephen King thrown in, so because I get a little creepy. I think anybody that loves those things would enjoy the Mind Bending series.
Cool. So, who would you say inspired or influenced you to write?
My kids, actually. I really wanted something, I had this dream and wanted to put it down on paper, but I really wanted, the one thing I wanted to accomplish out of this whole thing is so that my kids can hold the book and say, hey, mom did this, and be proud of mom. Everything else since that point has just been icing on the cake. So, they're my inspiration to try to keep being a better person, keep doing things, don't give up on dreams. I really want to be a positive influence for them, as well as anyone else that wants to try and make it in the world.
All right. Do you have any time to read now? Is there an author that you're reading that you think people would also enjoy?
Well, right now I picked up, because Nora Roberts has started on this dark post-apocalyptic kind of path. I've been picking up her latest and reading a little bit of that. Mostly I've been writing and dealing with the movie, so I haven't had as much time to read as I really want to, because I think reading makes you a better writer. So I really want to get back in and have some time to put my nose back in a book.
Yeah, I agree. Like I probably say it every episode. If you're a writer, you need to read, but if you've got time to read, you should be writing. And so
Right.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks, especially in the car or whatever, to try to still catch up on some reading. What about TV shows? Anything that you really like or that you're binging right now?
Right now I'm binging Britannia, which is, I think it's on Amazon Prime, uh, where it's set back in like 40 something BC, um, after Julius Caesar tried to invade Britannia and ran against the Druids. So it's the guy that came behind him is now going and trying to fight the Druids in England. So that's been a very interesting show. I watch all kinds of things. I watch, Game of Thrones is my number one favorite. Been watching The Magicians. I really like science fiction and fantasy and magic and all that stuff. It's just kind of where I like to be.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Now, Britannia, I'm not familiar with that. You mentioned druids. Is this more historical, or do they get into the like magical druid stuff with that?
I'm only about 4 or 5 episodes in, but they're really getting into the magical druid stuff.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some truth to the history on how they got there, but it's been pretty cool, pretty fun.
All right. All right. All right. If you had one piece of advice for an aspiring writer, what would it be?
Don't let anybody stop you. Don't give up. You need a thick skin in this business, as I'm sure you know. Get rejection after rejection after rejection. Once you get something written and you got to really put it out there, it's terrifying, but just keep going. Listen to the advice people give you, but don't take it too seriously.
All right. Now, so it sounds like that was your first book, the first book in this series, and you've got the new young adult series coming out. But so I guess if people like the first book, then continue on and read on up through 5 eventually, right?
Right. I
So
have that out you too.
all right. Anything else you want to tell us about the YA series, or is it too early for that?
It's still pretty early. I do have book covers. They're on my website that are really cool. So, I've got an outline enough to be able to develop the covers, but it's still pretty new, and I'm not exactly sure how everything's going to go yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I know you make some appearances at book fairs and stuff. So your books are available in paperback and they're in ebook on Amazon and elsewhere. But do you have any audiobooks out or in the works?
Afterthoughts was just released recently on audiobook. Hopefully the rest of the series is going to follow shortly behind, but that one just came out in the last few weeks. So I'm really excited. I already know some people that's picked it up. So that's good to know.
All right. Well, definitely. Again, congratulations on your short being picked up for the film festival, and hopefully that goes well for you. And anything you want to talk about that experience of having that happen, making the short feature, and finally seeing your characters come to life.
It's surreal. I keep having to pinch myself because I know I'm getting to experience what most people will never get to experience, and that's really sad. But it's just, I haven't seen my name actually splashed on the big screen yet. That's a little over 2 weeks away, but I've seen the short several times, and to see my characters come to life is just, I can't even describe it. It's an unbelievable thing.
Cool. Do you know when that will be available to be seen online? Is it going to make the film circuit first, or are you going to keep it, hush hush and just shop it around before you release it on like YouTube or something?
We don't know for sure when we're putting it out. Like you said, it's got to go through the film circuit. We've made it into Pasadena. We're waiting to hear from several others as well. They're doing an LA release on the 17th, and we're going to try to do a Louisville release where we're just, it's a 7-minute short, so it's more just coming and having a party with us and getting to see it. It will go online eventually. Like I said, I don't know when, because it depends on, and when it's in the film circuit, they don't want you to have it any place anybody could go see it, and that's totally understandable.
Right.
It's great. They did a great job. It's Kilted Pictures and Dancing Forward Production, Peyton Skelton and Diane Musselman, and they're both in LA. They did a phenomenal job. And like I said, the actors were amazing. It's just, I can't wait for the rest of the world to see it too.
Understandable. And you say you're working on book 5 now, or book
Yes.
5 out? Okay. You're working on book 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
So just as someone, I'm working on book 5 of my series. Mine are novellas, so they're a little short, but
yeah, mine are too. So
okay. All right. What's your experience with sequels and a series, or I find it obviously easier because your character's already established, but do you have any thoughts on writing a series, and do you have plans? Do you think it'll continue on beyond book 5?
I think it will, and I'm already spinning off a couple of characters into separate series, that some minor characters that really got developed that I really liked, and I thought, okay, there's an avenue that I could take them off into something else. But I think just in writing a series, I think for me the biggest challenge in it is making sure that I don't have too many avenues that I can't wrap up eventually. Do have a lot going on in the books, but I don't see an end in sight, really. I was saying for a while book 5 was going to be the end, but as I'm have it pretty much written at this point, it's not going to be. Characters, I like them too much. I'm not going to wrap them up anytime soon.
Yeah, I understand. I've had mine plotted out for 6, and I think 6 will be it, but it's very likely I'll spin off into another series with some of the characters, so I totally understand that.
Yeah.
You put all that work into those characters in that universe, and the nice thing about a spin-off is it's a way to have a new number 1 and bring someone into that universe from another angle, so that's a great way to do it.
Right. Or just go down a whole other rabbit hole.
Yep. All right. You said the covers for your YA book are on your website. What's your primary website?
It's lynntincher.com, LYNNTINCHER.com. The movie that has its own website is afterthoughtsfilm.com as well. My covers aren't there, but if you're interested in the movie, that's where to go.
Okay, cool. I'm sure I'll go check it out and look forward to. I'll have to see when the premiere here in Louisville is, and maybe check it out. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm really glad you made it. Anything else you want to cover? Are you?
No, that's me in a nutshell in a hurry. But appreciate you having me on.
Oh, great to have you.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah, good to see you. Hopefully, it won't be too long. We'll run into each other at one of the local shows.
I'm sure we will.
All right. Well, once again, good luck at the film festival and finding investors and such for the full feature. And good luck with book 5 and the new YA series. So it sounds like you got a lot going on. So
yeah.
all right. Well, thanks for joining us, and like I said, I'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
I'd like to thank author Lynn Tincher for being our guest, and I'd like to thank you for joining us. Be sure to visit the blurb.tv for all the links mentioned in the episode. If you enjoyed the program, be sure to share this with your friends, and remember to hit like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. You can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes. You can support the show by visiting our sponsors, buying our merch, or shopping with our affiliate links. And as always, thanks for your support, and I'll see you back here next week with another all-new episode.